cup. Look like the mist every time I rolled up. Dipping on the scene in a candy paint machine. Hella yellow bone poppers on my teeth.
Forensic serology is the detection, identification, classification, and the study of various bodily fluids such as blood, semen, saliva, urine, and their relationship to the crime scene. The serology section of a forensic laboratory may deal with any or all of the following: blood typing, characterization of unknown stains, blood spatter analysis to crime reconstruction, paternity testing, semen identification in sexual assault cases. In this video, I will be focusing on DNA testing. The nature of blood. Blood is an intricate mixture of cells, protein, enzymes, and inorganic substances. Human blood consists of 55% blood plasma, the fluid portion of blood, and 45% cellular materials, the solid portion of blood. Presumptive tests rely on hemoglobin's ability to catalyze the oxidation of certain reagents, which usually resulting in a color change. Oxidizing agent is usually hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. A combination of two tests are generally performed. One is catalytic test such as Hemaxtix or the Kastle-Meyer test, which is based on the peroxidase-like activity of hemoglobin. A bright pink color indicates the presence of blood. The other is the Leocho-Malachi green, the same procedure as Kastle-Meyer test, but LMG process produce blue-green color in the presence of blood. Another thing, if you want to trace a blood for large areas where the blood is suspected but not visible, luminal process is the best option by the scene of the crime investigators. If the blood is present, it will glow. Must be viewed in the darkness and photographed quickly. Blood is not the only material that will cause presumptive test reagent to change color. Horseradish and potatoes can also give positive results. These are unlikely to be at the crime scene. Though, once a presumptive test indicates that the stain may be blood, the next thing that the serologist must confirm that it is a human blood. In connection to human blood, blood typing involves determination of the antigens present on individuals' red blood cells. Antigens allow a living system to recognize foreign biological substances, such as infectious agents and allergens. Antigens also impart specific characteristics to the RBCs. These characteristics can be partly used to identify individuals. Blood typing involves determination of antigens present on individuals' red blood cell. For example, type A blood contain A antigens. Type B blood contain B antigen. Type AB blood contains A and B antigens. Type O blood contain no A or B antigens. Human red blood cells have many antigens, but the ones mostly commonly used for blood typing are Rh and ABO. Forensic anthropometry. The word anthropometry was derived from the Greek words anthros, meaning man, and metre, meaning to measure. Anthropometry is a science that deals with the measurement of size, weight, and the proportion of human body. The part of anthropometry having to do with the measurement of the human body, which to determine differences in races of individuals. It was the first system of identification used by the law police to identify criminals, and it was discovered by the well-known French police officer and biometrics researcher Alphonse Bertillon. The famous Bertillon system of measurement designed by Alphonse Bertillon began in 1890. Alphonse's father, Louis Bertillon, a famous French physician and anthropologist, largely influenced Alphonse's knowledge and interest in the human skeletal system. Alphonse invented a technique for describing individuals on a basis of catalog of physical measurements. This system consisted of using calipers and other measuring devices to take 11 specific body dimensions, and these are the following: sitting height, including standing height, distance between the fingertips and arms outstretched, the size of the head, the size of the right ear, the size of the left foot, the forearm, and in addition, distinctive personal features such as eye color, scars, and deformities were also noted. The system was used to identify criminals in the later years of the 19th century. It was lasted approximately for 20 years, but was soon displaced by the more reliable and easily recorded fingerprints. Portrait parley, also known as spoken portrait. It is an identification technique which is also invented by Alfonso Bertillon in the early stages of the development of his anthropometric measurement system. Bertillon broke down each part of the human faces into minute detail. The nose, for example, has key distinctive features: the root, tip, dorsum, base, height, and the breadth. In addition to facial features, the hair and the beard were described, as well as the general appearance, and the skin colors were mentioned too. The whole concept or portrait parley hinged on the precise notation system and remained prestigious for a while, as it was believed that the experienced officers were able to draw on it to identify certainty a suspect who mingled with the crowd. Forensic odontology, a branch of forensic science, uses the skills of dentists in personal identification during mass calamities, sexual assault, and child abuse, to name a few. Forensic odontology is the proper handling, examination, and evaluation of dental evidence, which will be presented in the interest of justice. Dental identification plays an important role when identification of remains of the deceased person is skeletonized, decomposed, burned, or dismembered, and it is invalid by visual or fingerprint methods. According to American Board of Forensic Odontology, dental identification can be divided into 4 types: the positive identification, second, possible identification, third, insufficient evidence, and 4, exclusion. Forensic odontology is used to determine the following: determination of species. It is possible to determine species by dental tissues because of the dental fluids containing special information which can be confirmed and analyzed using countercurrent electrophoresis with artificially antisera. And according to some authors, teeth are better source of DNA than skeletal bones because of the dental pulp and can be used for DNA analysis. Examining of teeth can build up a facial reconstruction and facial superimposition of the deceased. Example: bite marks is defined as the physical alteration in or on a medium caused by the contact of teeth. In few criminal cases, it is seen that suspect or victim has left his or her teeth marks on another person or inanimate object. It can also be a good source of DNA. Bite marks left on either the victim by the attacker, the perpetrator from the victim of an attacker, or an object found at the crime scene. Bite marks are often found on the children who are abused. Forensic dentists are responsible for six main areas of practice. First, identification of found human remains. Second, identification in mass fatalities. Third, assessments of bite marks injuries. Fourth, assessment of cases of abuse, such as child, spousal, or elder abuse. Fifth, civil cases involving malpractice. And sixth, lastly, the age estimation. In history of odontology, bite marks have become a major contribution on forensic dentistry in fighting crime. There's been a very high profile cases that done to court. William Bundy is one of the best known. He left bite marks on one of his two victims. The bite marks evidence was a major part of his conviction. Forensic anthropology can be described as an analysis of human remains for the medico-legal purpose of establishing identity. Forensic anthropology comes from two words. One is Latin and the other is Greek word. The forensic part comes from Latin, means as something pertains to the court. The second one is Greek in origin and is split into two parts, and anthropos part means man and the logia part means to study. So literally, forensic anthropology means the study of man for the purpose of the court. Forensic pathology is concerned with establishing a cause or manner of death, whereas forensic anthropology is about establishing the identity of the deceased. Often this involves skeletal remains. The services of anthropologists can be divided into three: investigation resulting from homicide, unexplained natural deaths, accident, and mass fatalities; non-criminal events resulting in multiple deaths arising from natural catastrophes; war crime investigation such as genocide; DNA fingerprinting, also called DNA typing; DNA profiling, genetic fingerprinting, genotyping, or identity testing; in genetics, method of isolating and identifying variable elements within the base pair sequence of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. The technique was developed in 1984 by British geneticist Alec Jeffrey. It allows DNA sample from different people to be compared to look for similarities and differences. It is used in solving crimes and can also confirm if people are related to each other, like in paternity testing. We have this modern technology called DNA profiling. It is a very sensitive technique which only needs a few skin cells, hair root, or tiny amount of blood or saliva. A piece of X-ray films was then exposed to a fragment, and a dark mark was produced. At any point where the radioactive probe had become attached, the resultant pattern of marks could then be analyzed.
Sold in my cup, look like the mist every time I rolled up.